This is Sergio from Cage Side Prep. I am joined today by the Vanilla Gorilla, Jason Witt, UFC Welterweight. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Not too bad. So obviously the world's going crazy right now with the pandemic and everything. So on a personal note from the pandemic, how are you holding up? Anything crazy going on in your life?
Uh, Nothing outside the ordinary. Pandemic, I've held up pretty well. Like I said, I opened my own gym in May of 2020. Bought a new house and fought a couple times the UFC. So I know the pandemic was pretty bad for a lot of people, but for myself, I've tried to kind of capitalize on that opportunity and move forward. So just staying busy with that.
Yeah, that was my next question. I mean, it seems like for like you said, for everybody else, it kind of sucked, but for you, it was business was booming. I mean, you like you said, you bought a house, you opened a studio, you got signed to the UFC. Was that your mentality going into the year? Was like, you know what, something's going to happen that's negative for everybody else. Let me try to be positive about it, and maybe something good will come of it.
Yeah, I had that mentality at the beginning of the year. Like I always set goals for the year, and my three goals were those exactly: was to buy a new house, fight in the UFC, and buy my own gym. So even before COVID hit, even before the world ended a little bit, I had that mentality going in, and I just had to capitalize on that regardless of what the situation was.
How is opening your new gym? Did you have any struggles there in terms of the pandemic and shutdowns and stuff like that?
Not really. So I was a personal trainer at this gym I was working at. We got shut down for 2 months. I was deemed whatever, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah. So we didn't have any work, and so instead of worrying about it, I bought the gym and then opened it up as soon as as soon as we got to reopen. So it actually worked out pretty well. We were shut down for 2 months, but that gave me a chance to buy the gym and then remodel it and rename it and kind of get it the way I wanted it. And then once that happened, we opened back up again.
Oh, looks like it lagged there for a second.
Yeah, I see that. That's not good.
Yeah, so like you said, you bought it and opened it. But yeah, overall, no struggles in terms of shutdowns and stuff like that.
No, we've been very fortunate that that Kansas laws hasn't been as crazy as other places, and we've got to remain open. So that helped out a lot.
That leads me to this next question. I mean, obviously, gym and homeowners is very important, but another key component of your life is being a UFC fighter. So you finally get the honor of saying, "I'm a UFC fighter." Did it feel like you couldn't say it until you got that first UFC win?
That's a good question. Nobody's asked me that one yet. No, not really. You know, walking in, even though I lost the fight, I knew walking into that first fight and seeing myself up on the big screen, knowing that win, lose, or draw, no matter which way it went, I had made it. I had made it in the UFC. I had accomplished that goal. So like I knew I was a UFC fighter, and once I got in there and was walking around, and no, even though I lost, didn't go my way, I still knew like I belonged there. I still knew like this is what all those times that like, should I keep going, should I quit, or should I keep fighting, or what it was that I knew I should have kept fighting, and I knew that's what it was for. And then the to get the win was just even that much better.
How did it feel not just to get a win in your, I guess your first UFC win, but you also got a finish? Did that make it feel extra special? You know, your first UFC win being a finish.
Absolutely, man. Like I was pretty nervous for that fight going into it. I know he was a good wrestler. I knew my wrestling was better, which obviously I showed that in the fight. But yeah, to get that win, man, it's kind of unexplainable. But to get the finish, James Krause always says, doesn't count if you don't finish. So that just makes it 10 times better.
Yeah, I mean he is really becoming one of the best, if not the best, coaches in all of MMA at the moment. How important has it been being there at Glory with the guys there as well as the mastermind that is James Krause?
Yeah, I mean he's a super important part of the game. Super important part of our everyday glory. Really kind of follows behind him, and he's one of those guys that leads by example. You know what I mean? He'll tell you like he told me to stay. He told everybody to stay ready during the pandemic while everybody's taking time off and sitting back. We were in the gym like still working, so we were trying to stay ready. And you know, Isaac could fight on 48 hours notice. Kevin Kumta could fight on 48 hours. James Krause could fight on 24 hours notice. So it's like we stay ready, and it's kind of a testament to the man he is, the coach he is, and to have him in the cage, it's just adds so much that more confidence. One of the things I love that he says, he goes, look, if you don't trust in yourself, trust in me because I'm gonna fucking win. And that one kind of always stuck with me. It really did. It makes me laugh, but it's a true testament too.
One of the interesting components of 2020 and 2021 so far is the empty cage. Is that something you've gotten used to already? And is it nice being able to hear James while you're fighting?
Yeah, I don't have. The thing is, I've never fought in front of 6,000 people. I've never fought in front of a huge fan. I think the most people I've fought in front of is probably tops is 5,000 that I can think of. You know what I mean? That'd be the most I've ever fought in front of. So I don't really know. So to fight in front of the UFC cage with no fans, I think it's better. It's really helped me out a lot. I remember the last fight. I busted Cole Williams' head up, give him a nice little cut, and James was like, "Oh, you got a nice cut going." I was like, "Yep, I can see that." Like we were just having this conversation, just back and forth, like it was just a normal day in the gym.
Yeah, I mean it works so well for some people. Some people have taken a hit from it. Anthony Smith, you can tell it was the first fight that he had back against Glover Teixeira. You can tell it was overwhelming for him. So it's kind of nice that you get to kind of experience your entire UFC career in silence, almost without the arena. So it's nothing new, like you said, for you. That being said, you've got a big fight next weekend, so I couldn't go without asking, how are you feeling a week out?
Yeah, I mean it's in the training camp, so you know you're kind of beat up, all the little nagging injuries. Like I've worked my ass off for this fight, and my body's pretty tired, my body's pretty beat up. But today was my last hard day of training, and I feel good now. Like last week I was feeling pretty run down, but took like a little bit of rest, and I'm feeling good now. Mentally I feel a lot better. Strength I feel a lot better. I'm ready to get that weight cut going and get the fight going.
How do you feel about Matthew Semelsberger as an opponent?
I think he's good. I think he's kind of a basic striker, though. I think he's going to put a lot of pressure forward, but he's that 1-2-3 kind of striker. Not a lot of feints, kind of that Thai style. We haven't seen a lot of takedowns or shots from him. I know he took a couple shots on Minus and took him down in his debut. But man, I think I match up really well with him. I think to beat me, you have to have a different style, and that Thai style just doesn't help with you. I think my wrestling will definitely out grapple him, and I really see myself putting him against the cage and just kind of wearing him down and grinding him down, and we call it cooking him, just kind of cooking him until he gets tired, until he wants to give up. And I really believe that I will make him give up and then TKO him in the second round.
I know you're not one to probably look past your opponent and everything, but you said at the beginning of this interview that you have 3 goals before every year. What are your goals for 2021?
Good question. I have a couple goals. One of the goals is to build the gym that I have now, the personal training studio, up to a bigger location, and makes X amount of money doing that. One of my goals is to, I want to make $100,000 off the UFC, off of fighting, and that could be one fight, that could be 2 fights, it could be 1.5 fights. It doesn't matter what it is. So I'd really like to get like 3 or 4 fights in. So that's kind of one of my goals too. Another one is just to, my wife and I are trying to have kids. So that's kind of a goal too. Is kind of have a kid by the end of the year, or, get pregnant by the end of the year. Big ass goals, man. Big ass goals.
Yeah. It's like, how do you balance all that? It seems like, you're going to have to time it so it's not during fight camp or anything like that. So if you're going to get 4 fights, you got to make sure it's timed perfectly.
Yeah. Haven't really figured that one out yet. Just kind of winging it, man. I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna work best, but shit, nothing in life does, man. Nobody would have thought the pandemic happened last year, but you gotta make the best of every opportunity you got.
That's true, very true. I want to talk about an award that maybe a lot of MMA fans don't know about, but it's a more personal award. Was Submission of the Year there at Glory MMA.
Yeah.
I know it's just strictly for your gym, but I'm sure it meant a lot to you. What did it mean to get that award?
It meant a lot, man. I was really surprised by it. I wasn't expecting it. Honestly, I don't know if you saw Kevin Croom's debut. He got that submission in like 30 seconds on 24 hours or 48 hours notice, whatever. And so I thought it'd really go to him. But to get that just means a lot to me, man. Especially coming from a gym like that. I've been there for about 6 to 7 years, and I've seen the gym grow from a small gym to where it is now. And I feel like the sky's still the limit for our gym. And so to get an award like that from people like James Krause, Joe Wooster, all the coaches, Jason High, Austin Ford, all those guys there, is really just kind of a testament that man, I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's really an honor to receive that.
One of the people there at your gym is actually fighting this weekend, and I couldn't go without asking. I mean, everyone seems to be writing her off, but as someone who's in there day in and day out working with her, I'm sure you know a lot more than the average fan. So what can we expect from Megan Anderson when she fights Amanda Nunes?
Look, Megan is the most technical striker in our gym, and a lot of people don't see that. She's big. I mean, you see me standing next to her, and she towers over me. She's tall, she's long, she hits like a man, she's strong. She really puts a lot of power behind her punches, and I don't think people understand that. I don't think people see that. And that can give Amanda Nunes a lot of problems, and she's really good at using that range. I think Amanda Nunes, you know, she knocked out Cyborg, she knocked out all those guys, but those people are more like kind of in the pocket type fighters, and Megan's not that. Megan has a lot of different attributes that a lot of these people don't. A lot of these other women fighters don't have, and I really think Megan has that little kind of it factor behind her that could kind of surprise Nunes a little bit. So I really think I honestly think Megan can win this fight, and a lot of people are, like you said, writing her off, but she definitely has the right to be in there. She's definitely put her work in, and she's definitely in the gym all the time, improving her skills, and she's gotten a lot better over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I think striking, if this fight stays on the feet, she does have a very, very good chance. I think a lot of people, she's very long. You know, she utilizes her range very well. So I mean, I'm not writing her off by any means, but it's so hard when Amanda's just done what Amanda's done. But I think Amanda hasn't looked as good in her last few performances either. So it's going to be an interesting fight for sure.
Yeah, the odds are definitely stacked against her, but you know, I think that could be something she strives to show the difference. Man, I'm super excited for her. I'm super excited for the gym in that aspect too. So I mean, we're all definitely rooting for her. We're all definitely behind her, and you know, we all hope she brings that belt home.
I want to ask one last question. That's probably not one that you've heard in a while, but if you can look back at that guy who just started in MMA so long ago, what would that advice be? I mean, you've had a ridiculous amount of fights. You've reached the UFC. If there's any lesson that you could take throughout your journey, what advice would you give that guy?
Man, that's a good question. You know, stay consistent and don't sweat the little shit. You know what I mean? Like just trust the process of what you're doing. Like being in the gym every day, like you're not going to be in the gym every day. If you stay there and just keep pushing, like things will happen. You know, there's a lot of highs and a lot of lows in this game, but the more consistent you are, the more work you put in, the better, the more luck you get, I guess they call it. So yeah, it's a good question though. Thank you.
All right, and then I guess we'll end on this. Is there anybody you'd like to thank, any sponsors, any coaches, or anything like that before we end it?
We got to thank everybody at Glory MMA Fitness, man. Reading Sports Agency, gotta love all those guys. I just appreciate you for having me on here, man. Really, really appreciate the time.